Konnichiwa, Bonjour, Riviere, Ni hao, Kalimera, Jambo。
大家好，欢迎来到 PUPU House Story Time。今天要和大家分享的绘本是 A Squash and a Squeeze 又窄又小的房子，是 Julia Donaldson 的作品。我实在是太喜欢 Julia Donaldson 的作品了，这应该是 PUPU House 分享她的第4本书了。今天的故事很特别哦，故事结束之后呢，会邀请大家一起把故事用唱的再说一遍哦，希望大家都有满足、喜乐、没有抱怨的人生。A squash and a squeeze， 又窄又小的房子。A little old lady lived all by herself, with a table and chairs and a jug on the shelf. 有一位矮小的老太太独自住在一间房子里，房子里有餐桌和椅子，墙上的架子上还有一个水罐。A wise old man heard her grumble and grouse. There's not enough room in my house. Wise old man, won't you help me, please? My house is a squash and a squeeze. 有一个聪明的老先生听到这个老太太在发牢骚哦。老太太说：“哦，我的房子真是又窄又小诶，聪明的老先生，请你帮帮忙吧，我的房子实在是太挤了，该怎么办才好呢？” Take in your hand, said the wise old man. 这聪明的老先生就说：“把你的母鸡带到屋子里吧。” Take in my hand? What a curious plan. 老太太就想说：“哈，把我的母鸡带到房子里，这是什么怪主意啊？” Well, the hen laid an egg on the fireside rug and flapped round the room, knocking over the jug. 母鸡呢，它走到壁炉旁边的小地毯上，生了一颗蛋，然后呢，还在屋子里面拍着翅膀飞来飞去，就把水罐打翻了。The little old lady cried, "What should I do? It was pocky for one, and it's tiny for two. My nose has a tickle, and there's no room to sneeze. My house is a squash and a squeeze." 哦，老太太就在叫哦，我该怎么办呢？一个住已经很挤了，现在还有2个，房子变得更小了。我的鼻子好痒哦，可是没有地方可以让我打喷嚏耶，我的房子真的是又窄又小。And she said, "Wise old man, won't you help me, please? My house is a squash and a squeeze." 她就说：“聪明的老先生啊，请你帮帮忙吧，我的房子实在是太挤了，该怎么办才好呢？” Take in your gold, said the wise old man. 聪明的老先生就说：“把你的山羊也带进屋子里吧。” Take in my gold? What a curious plan! 哈，把我的山羊带到屋子里，这是什么怪主意？Well, the goat chewed the curtains and trod on the egg, then sat down to nibble the table leg. 山羊呢，它进到屋子之后就咬破了窗帘，踩破了鸡蛋，还一屁股坐在地上，开始啃桌子的角。The little old lady cried, "Glory be, it was tiny for two, and it's teachy for three. The hen pecks the goat, and the goats get fleas. My house is a squash and a squeeze." 老太太就叫说：“哎呦，我该怎么办才好呢？2个猪已经很挤了，现在又来了3个，房子变得更小了。母鸡在啄山羊，山羊身上有跳蚤。我的房子真是又窄又小。” And she said,Wise old man, won't you help me please? My house is a squash and a squeeze. 他就说啊，聪明的老先生，请你帮帮忙吧，我的房子实在是太挤了，该怎么办才好呢？Taking your pig, said the wise old man. 聪明的老先生就说，把你的猪也带进屋子里吧。Take in my pig? What a curious plan! 哈，把我的猪也带到房子里，这什么怪主意啊？So she took in her pig who kept chasing the hen and raiding the larder again and again. 猪呢一进到屋子里就开始拼命的追着母鸡这样跑，然后呢它还搜刮食物柜里面的食物，把能吃的东西通通都塞到了嘴巴里。The little old lady cried, "Stop, I implore. It was teachy for 3 and it's teeny for 4. Even the pig in the larder agrees. My house is a squash and a squeeze." 老太太就大叫说，求求你们停下来，3个猪已经很挤了，现在又有4个，房子变得更小了，就连食物柜里面的猪都说，这房子真的好窄好窄，我的房子真的是又窄又小。And she said, "Wise old man, won't you help me please? My house is a squash and a squeeze." 他就说，聪明的老先生啊，请你帮帮忙吧，我的房子实在是太挤了，该怎么办呢？Take in your cow, said the wise old man. 聪明的老先生又说，那把你的乳牛也带到屋子里吧。Take in my cow? What a curious plan. 哈，还要把我的乳牛带到房子里，这是什么怪主意呀？Well, the cow took one look and charged straight at the pig, then jumped on the table and tapped out a jig. 乳牛进到屋子之后就看了一眼，就马上朝着小猪扑过去，然后呢还跳上桌子开始跳起了踢踏舞。The little old lady cried, "Heavens alive! It was teeny for 4 and it's weeny for 5. I'm tearing my hair out. I'm down on my knees. My house is a squash and a squeeze." 老太太又大叫说，我的天哪，4个猪已经够挤了，现在有5个，房子变得更小了。我累得跪了下来，烦恼得一直拉我的头发，我的房子实在是又窄又小。And she said, "Wise old man, won't you help me, please? My house is a squash and a squeeze." 他就说，聪明的老先生啊，请你帮帮忙吧，我的房子实在是太挤了，该怎么办才好呢？Take them all out, said the wise old man. But then I'll be back where I first began. 聪明的老先生就说，现在把他们通通都放出来吧。老太太就说，可是那不就变得和原来一模一样了吗 So she opened the window and out flew the hen. That's better, at last I can sneeze again. 老太太就打开了窗子，放出母鸡。她就说：哇，现在好多了，我终于可以打喷嚏了。She shoot out the goat and she shoved out the pig. My house is beginning to feel pretty big. 老太太又赶走了山羊，把猪放走。她说：我的房子开始变得宽敞又舒服了耶。She huffed and she puffed and she pushed out the cow. Just look at my house, it's enormous now. 她又气喘吁吁地把乳牛推出了大门。她就说：哇，现在看看我的房子，原来它大得很呢。Thank you, old man, for the work you have done. It was weeny for 5. It's gigantic for 1. There's no need to grumble and there's no need to grouse. There's plenty of room in my house. 老太太就对这位聪明的先生说：谢谢你，聪明的老先生，你帮了我大忙诶。5个挤在里面真的是又窄又小，一个人住实在是太宽敞了。现在我不用再发牢骚，也不用再抱怨了，因为我的房子真的是大得不得了。And now she's full of frolics and fiddle-dee-dees. It isn't a squash and it isn't a squeeze. 老太太高兴地唱唱又跳跳，因为她的房子一点都不小。Yes, she's full of frolics and fiddle-dee-dees. It isn't a squash or a squeeze. 没错，她高兴地唱唱又跳跳，因为她的房子不窄也不小。来咯，我们一起来唱歌咯。
A little old lady lived all by herself with a table and chair and a jug on the shelf. A wise old man heard her grumble and grouse. There's not enough room in my house. She said, wise old man, won't you help me please? My house is a squash and a squeeze.
鸡来咯。
Take in your hen, said the wise old man. Take in my hen, what a curious plan. Well, the hen laid an egg on the fireside rug and flapped round the room, knocking over the jug. The little old lady cried, what shall I do? It was pokey for 1 and it's tiny for 2. My nose has a tickle and there's no room to sneeze. My house is a squash and a squeeze. And she said, wise old man, won't you help me please? My house is a squash and a squeeze.
山羊来咯。
Take in your goat, said the wise old man. Take in my goat, what a curious plan. Well, the goat chewed the curtains and trod on the egg, then sat down to nibble the table leg. The little old lady cried, glory be, it was tiny for 2 and it's titchy for 3. The hen pecks the goat and the goat's got fleas. My house is a squash and a squeeze. And she said, wise old man, won't you help me please? My house is a squash and a squeeze.
猪来咯。
Take in your pig, said the wise old man. Take in my pig, what a curious plan. So she took in the pig, who kept chasing the hen and raiding the larder again and again. The little old lady cried, stop, I implore. It was titchy for 3 and it's teeny for 4. Even the pig in the larder agrees. My house is a squash and a squeeze. And she said, wise old man, won't you help me please? My house is a squash and a squeeze.
Here comes the cow.
Take in your cow, said the wise old man. Take in my cow, what a curious plan. Well, the cow took one look and charged straight at the pig, then jumped on the table and tapped out a jig. The little old lady cried, heavens alive, it It was teeny for 4 and it's weeny for 5. I'm tearing my hair out, I'm down on my knees. My house is a squash and a squeeze. And she said, wise old man, won't you help me please? My house is a squash and a squeeze. Take them all out, said the wise old man. But then I'll be back where I first began. So she opened the window and out flew the hen. That's better, at last I can sneeze again. She shooed out the goat and she shoved out the pig. My house is beginning to feel pretty big. She hopped and she popped and she pushed out the cow. Just look at my house, it's enormous now. Thank you, old man, for the work you have done. It was weeny for 5, it's gigantic for 1. There's no need to grumble and there's no need to cross. There's plenty of room in my house, and now she's full of frolics and fiddle-dee-dees. It isn't a squash and it isn't a squeeze. Yes, she's full of frolics and fiddle-dee-dees. It isn't a squash or a squeeze.
哇，大家唱的还过瘾吗？是不是觉得生活真的是无限的美好，真的没有什么好抱怨的呢？我们今天的故事已经结束喽，您还喜欢吗？如果你喜欢我的频道，请记得帮我订阅、分享、按赞，让更多的人可以听到这些优质的好绘本故事哦。See you next time, bye.
It isn't a squash or a squeeze.